Hi, welcome to Just Another Army Vet 2.0, which is all about Indian content. For those of you who are new, I'm Kylie. I'm a former combat medic for the U.S. Army. I have another channel called Just Another Army Vet, which is all about military and defense. Today's video comes from the channel Charyudata Galande. This is Colonel Lalit Rai, VrC of the Indian Army. This is his Kargil War Stories Part 2. My first part reaction is going to be linked in the description box below. Let's get to it.
So in June I landed up there. When I landed up there, the battalion was already well joined in battle with the enemy. Now the terrain of that area, you see here, this is the watershed. Now what is the watershed? Watershed is the highest point of the mountains joint, that is the ridge line. It's called a watershed because even if a drop of water falls down, half a drop going right and half a drop going left hypothetically, that becomes the origin for a river, because that is the highest point of that area. So this is the watershed which separates Pakistan, this side, from India, this side. The road which I was telling you about, which comes from Jammu, Srinagar, Leh, is this road, like this. Plan was simple, that they would come over this ridge line here from here, because it is little gradual in their side, and here these are the spurs which are coming out like fingers. Can you see these fingers? They are called the spurs. It's just like those mountain side which is just rolling down like this and then it touches the ground. But these spurs are not so kind like the ones over here. These are huge ones, and the altitude around here is around 18,000, 19,000 feet above sea level. And these are the valleys in between them. These are the mountain streams which flow down and join this Indus River. And this Indus River itself goes down slightly south and then goes into Pakistan. The plan was, during winters, through helicopters, get dropped here, 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 here in these areas, come across and occupy places right up to here, to here, to here, to here. And then, through observation and by fire, dominate this complete road and cause a blockage here. Do not permit our convoys to move towards that side, towards Leh. This is going towards Leh. And they did just that. They did as per plan. Winters, the helicopters dropped them. Fantastic equipment they had, the best equipment they had bought from the Scandinavian countries. And they occupied all these places right up to here. And the interstate distance between these two, let's say from this spur to this spur, between the valley is about 2 to 3 kilometers. By sight, you can see, but walking is a great difficulty. So when the battalion was asked to move, the first patrol which was trapped somewhere here, near this Kukarthang area, and Khaluvar area here, somewhere around here. That patrol party was also very interesting how they got caught. When the patrol party, much to the bad luck of the Pakistani army, normally the snow starts thawing down somewhere in July. And they had planned that by July we will be well ensconced and well placed over there. However, due to our good luck, the snow started melting much earlier this time. It was somewhere in May the snow started melting. So, good sense prevailed, and in May itself our patrolling party started going up these areas, because our permanent defenses are in these areas. They started going up these areas like this, in May itself. So when this patrolling party of about 130, one officer, one JSU and 30 Jawans, they were making the way up like this here, in this area. They were actually going through Pakistani positions, we were already there. But the Pakistanis did not open fire at that time. They let them pass through because they were not totally prepared. They were waiting till July. But to the good luck or the bad luck of the Pakistanis, the patrol party commander, he established his base over here, kept about 10 to 15 chaps here, and with 15 chaps he moved up. When he had just gone about 3 to 4 kilometers ahead, he realized that the radio said one extra battery which he is supposed to carry, 2 or 3 extra batteries, he had not carried. So he admonished the radio operator and told him, you go back now with 4 or 5 chaps and get the extra batteries and come back. Now when these 4 or 5 chaps of the patrol party started coming back because of the high altitude and the blizzard and the snow, this is a terrible weather there, they lost their way and they did not retrace the place from where they came. So they diverted off the main route. When they diverted off the main route, they came and hit bang onto the Pakistani post where they were sitting down. That time they had no choice, so they had to open fire, and they opened fire. And all these fighters were killed. The moment now this sound of fire was heard, then the officer came down over here from the top. And he realized that when these chaps came there, they also came under fire, and they were also pinned down there. 2 or 3 of them were killed immediately, and the rest were pinned down. And we started getting desperate messages on the radio set that so-and-so patrol is caught up here. These people who were here, they tried to rush up, again 2 or 3 people killed, and they were also pinned down. Heavy fire. Now at that point of time, no one ever imagined that it would be the Pakistani army which would be doing this. At the most, we thought it would be a few militants who are holed up there and causing this sort of damage. It happens that they have those training camps over there, militants also. We thought must be 15, 20 of them must have got together, and they may have hit a militant camp by mistake, and they may be doing this damage. But the type of fire that came, and the way, the manner in which the firing came, we are experts in our own field, we know. The way you fire a rifle, I'll tell you whether you are trained, not trained, and whether you are scared or not scared while you are firing it. By the way you fire. It sounds very strange, but it's true. In the pattern of firing, the manner in which they fired, the manner in which they conducted themselves, we knew that this cannot be a militant. It has to be a trained soldier. And that is the time alarm bells started ringing. And slowly, not only this patrol, all over. Now this area is Batalik area, which is towards the north. All over, now towards Tiger Hill, which is towards the central and Dras area. Then further south, Moscow Valley.
That was just one hint that they were not militants. They had mounting evidence as the war went on, such as when they recovered some dead Pakistani soldiers and they found their actual ID cards on them. So that was just one of many clues that said, hey, these are actual trained soldiers that were fighting and not militants.
All of us reports started coming about skirmishes like this. That is the time alarm bells rang, and people generally alerted everybody, and whole battalions were moved up to see and probe what is it. But even then the picture was not clear. So by around mid-May or end June, the picture started becoming clearer and clearer. By not end June, by end May and beginning June. My battalion was asked to move by mid-May after extricating this patrol. So the battalion moved. They were in Nurla, Leh Ladakh over here, relaxing. Half the party was already in Pune. They were called back. We came up this way, and then they started moving up like this. Now the orders were very unclear. In army, everything has to be crystal clear. You will capture so-and-so area by so-and-so times, likely enemy here, there, etc. In this case, it was not very clear. Said there is some enemy. We'll have to find out how many. In this general area, you have to find out the specific area and capture it. So they battalion started probing this area. When they started probing this area, it started coming under severe fire over here, all over this place. Right from here upwards, from this place down. We had to fight our way up. And the modus operandi was very simple. Keep moving till fire comes on you. When fire comes on you, keep probing till whatever you can, till you draw actual very, very heavy fire. And we managed to hold on to half this area here, small portion of this area here, and up to this Granava here, like this. Right from here. And my base was at Yaldur. And that is the time when we were stuck there was no progress made, I got the call. And normally, the army is slightly stingy on expenses. They normally give you 1 helicopter to move. This time they made sure they gave me 2 helicopters. Even if 1 helicopter fails, the other one should carry me back to Yaldur. So I reached Yaldur, and my second in command was in command at that point of time. He was a half colonel. And the moment I got down, he embraced me very tightly. And till date, I keep telling him and his wife that it must have been the envy of your wife the way you embraced me. Because he also told me, sir, I've never been so glad in my life to see any face like yours. Because the whole responsibility is off his head now. It comes to my head. After handing over, immediately after 5 or 6 minutes, there was intense shelling in that area. And my reception party was head and skirt everywhere, and I also got into one of those Bakri huts over there. And that is the way I was inducted into that battlefield. Till the mid and end of June, we kept probing here, tried our best to make progress, and even I contemplated attack on this Kukarthang and this Munto Dhalo area. But we knew we would buy a lot of casualties. By now, we were very clear that it was a solid enemy and they were in good strength. There must have been at least in this general area about 500 people. In this general area about 500 people. In this general area another 500 people. Now, in our assessment, we realized that in this complete area, this place called Khalubar top here was the main key feature, because all the administrative tracks or the routes from Pakistan used to come through like this and come here like this and then go from here like this, go from here like this and come from there like this. In other words, if anyone was to control this area of Khalubar top, would control the complete area. Or, in other words, if we would capture this area of Khalubar top, we would make this complete area untenable by the enemy, because of the fact that we would exercise control over the routes of their reinforcements. But like the proverbial situation, everybody knows that the cat has to be belled, but who is going to bell the cat was the situation. We know that this capture of this would render the whole thing useless, but who's going to capture it and how? Because this complete area has got enemy here, this area has got enemy here, this area has got enemy here. You try to go like this, you come to a crossfire. You try to go like this, come to a crossfire. You try to go up like this is what he wants. You capture this, then he causes attrition, then he goes back here. You capture this, again a lot of attrition and damage to you, again he goes back slightly further. He keeps on moving back in steps. He keeps killing you and he keeps putting a lot of casualties on you. And by the time you reach over here, it's already 6 months over. And your impetus is also dead. Your complete momentum is dead. That's what he wants.
That sounds like it's almost an impossible task, but something tells me that they're going to figure out a way to do it and they're going to triumph. So
that is the time when they, I still discuss with my officers, and we have very interesting sort of interaction with them. That is the time my officers, when I volunteered to capture this Khalubar top. I just volunteered. I told the General Officer Commanding, sir, I will do it. And the way my officers looked at me, I could make out that they are thinking that I have gone mad, I have got cerebral edema at that point of time. And they confess even today. They confess, they said, sir, we thought you had cerebral edema. Because it's a suicide letter. And another interesting thing which my officer told me was, he says his name is Major R.P. Singh, he's from Lucknow, very humorous chap. Like I say, a sense of humor is very important. He says, when you said this and you have to attack and you started giving us orders about how to go about it, he says, I wasn't listening to you. I was just sitting down and imagining those Hindi movie sequences where, there is a photograph of a guy with that sandalwood garland around that photograph and agarbatis and R.P. Singh's photograph there. He was a good guy, people are saying and praying like that. He says, I imagined that. But I suppose it wasn't his mistake because the situation was such. It was a very difficult situation. Anyway, the idea, the plan which I had contemplated was capture this, go through this Jumplungpa area here like this, come up to this base over here, and then attack him straight, go for the jugular here. Easier said than done. My problem was, from this base area from where I start, it is a 14 hours march till here.
wow.
14 hours with all your arms, your ammunition, your rations, amounting to almost 90 pounds of weight per man. Now in 14 hours, how many hours of darkness do you think you can get maximum? Can anyone just tell me? In 14 hours of any time, ideal situation, how many hours of darkness do you think you can get? Maximum? 8 hours? Because in mountains the moonlight is also pretty bright and the sun also comes up pretty fast. say about 8 hours. That means 6 hours of daylight. Now that means 6 hours of exposure, and that is going to be hell. So should the exposure be here initially, so that the surprise is maintained till we go there? Should it be in this area where the darkness is required? Should it be in this area the darkness is required, or should it be in this area the darkness is required, or should it be here when you start initially, so that you quickly make an entry? That was a dilemma faced by me. So anyway, due to military training and whatever little experience that we gathered, I finally decided that I want the darkness most when I am here. He knows I am coming, but he doesn't know from where I am coming, number one. He doesn't know what time I am coming and with what strength I am coming. So this is the place where I want the darkness, and that's what we planned. The idea was very simple. We go this way, and while we are going this way, our parties are positioned here and they are firing upwards. Our artillery guns from somewhere here, this area, they are also pounding these areas to keep their heads down. And we kicked off during daylight. We reached somewhere around here, Jumblumpa, and the enemy started firing at us. I could hear the staccato of machine gun fire. And initially we thought that this is the gunfire from our own weapons. But later on we realized there was a puff of dust everywhere. And suddenly the dust started getting closer and closer, and once the bullet came and hit my boot and went through it. And the impact threw me off and I fell down. That is the time my guard protection party and the other people realized that the fire is becoming very effective. After all, though the distance is there, but still they have got those long range weapons too. And of course the artillery firing was also there. When I fell, then the boy said, "Saab, run. Now it is difficult, you must start running." Imagine in this altitude must have been around 15,000 feet above sea level, where even you take 2-3 steps, your whole windpipe starts burning because of the effort that is required to move. We started running in zigzag. And believe me, when there is bullet flying, when there is danger to your life or limb, you can run faster than an Olympian runner also. It's a fact. It's a fact. Your tiredness vanishes.
Fight or flight, that's what that is. Your adrenaline kicks in and you can do the impossible things sometimes.
You know, if you are tired, then you're dead. We made zigzags around in this area. We would sit down behind a rock like this, look for the next rock, and then head straight for it with a little bit of a zigzag over here to beat the enemy fire. So one very funny thing happened here. I remember still very, very vividly. When we were around here, this area, there was a small rock under which I was hiding, and then I saw a huge rock with another small rock near it. So I said, that's a good place where I can take a good breather. So I ran for it. And my protection party boy was also there. We both, when we were approaching that place, that big rock, fire also started being a little more intense because we were closer there. I saw there was a huge cacti plant with those prickly, things at the end, needles at the end. I mean, there's really solid needles. Even in high altitude, I didn't know that cacti grow that big. And sitting down there would have perforated me. So I had to purpose leave that big rock very reluctantly and come to the small rock, and I sat down there. And I was cursing, why did the cactus have to grow there? Anyway, just behind me, I could hear a very heady panting, a man panting, with great labor. That was my Major Saab who had just been posted in from Delhi. He had a good cushy tenure in Army Headquarters Delhi, and he had been posted over there for this battle only. He was panting and puffing, and then he was coming like a absolute railway agent. And he was dead tired. I could make out he was dead tired. His name was Chris. So before he could even proceed further, because he wasn't even looking, I told him, Chris, don't sit down, there's a big cacti there. He just didn't bother and he just sat down there. And the whole thing, And then that was the day I told him, Chris, you really became holy that day because the cacti really got you there. But he says, sir, there was no seat more comfortable than that seat that day I had. He was that tired. Anyway, so we moved up like this, came up to the base over here and started moving up. Fire was coming, people were getting injured, but not that bad. When we came over here, up here, then the fire started becoming more and more intense. And by the time we reached about 600 yards short of the objective, the main objective of Kaluga top, the fire was too much. It was like an absolute Diwali. I could see the traces coming at me like this, screaming like this. And the bullets were going so close to my face that I could feel that, that hot air, pocket of air, which is there in the bullet, just next to my face. And one was so scared to even nod one's head left or move or shake one's head left or right, you might get a bullet that we just charged straight. That was the type of thing. Then my
Scary.
protection party boy, he got shot totally from here till there. He was cut like ribbons into two halves. My radio operator, he also got shot right in front of me. I got few bullets passing through my jacket. I still maintain that jacket with me with bullet holes in it. And then again we proceeded further to about 400 meters short of the objective. And that is the time we had to stop. There was just no way that we could have advanced further. We were going from rock to rock, but it was impossible to move ahead. So when we paused there, I quickly had a look at this area as to where the fire is coming from. Realized that Halova top is the place, one place from where the fire is coming maximum, and the other place was a place called bunker area, which is slightly away from it. So that is the time I called Captain Manoj Pandey, very brave young boy, just 23 years old. And even in his dossier here at NDA, when we read it now, that's why they say that leaders are laid and not born. But I feel that leaders are even born. Because when we read this fellow's dossier here now, you have to write a small sort of a article or a biography or a thing as to what you want to become. Everybody says, I want to become the Chief of Army Staff, I want to become the President of India, I want to become the Prime Minister of India, I want to become this general, I want to become that general. This boy had written, I want to get the Paramveer Chakra. Can you imagine it? He read it now, after his death. And he was a cadet here that time. So this boy was very brave. And I looked around for the other company commanders, I couldn't find it, so this youngster was there, I called him. I explained to him. I said, bunker area is the place where the machine guns are there. I thought there were two bunkers with two machine guns each. And I said, you must destroy that. Meanwhile, I will take the rest of the party and go right on top. We started with about 400 people. By the time we reached this place, he could muster only about 30 or 35 of the people. I could muster only about 40 odd people. So I said, okay, push off, best of luck. And that young boy, without hesitation, he said, sir, it will be done. And I'll make sure I do it, and I'll tell you when I've completed my job. I said, good, but just be careful. So this boy went up. When he went up, instead of two bunkers, there were 6 of them, actually. They were echeloned behind each other, which you couldn't see from that place from where you were sitting now.
Ooh, wow.
And each bunker had two machine guns. Normally one bunker has got one machine gun. But since these people were well prepared, they had two machine guns. And these machine guns fire at a rapid rate of almost 600 to 1,000 rounds per minute. This is the rate. And I have brought in that bag, I don't know where is that bag kept. The size of the bullets that were being fired at us. They were using air defense guns against us. Anyway, so what he planned was, we normally have that fire and move tactics, where few people move from the right, then the fire is attracted there, then few people move from the left, fire is attracted there, then people move from the front, fire is attracted there. You keep on diverting his attention and keep on getting closer and closer to him till you come into the grenade throwing range, and then you throw the grenade and finish off the bunker. So this was his plan. Out of those 6 bunkers, 4 of them were closer to each other and 2 of them were slightly away. So he told one Havaldar, you take 10 chaps with you, I'll keep the remainder 20-25 boys, and I'll finish these 4 bunkers, you finish those 2 other bunkers. So that Havaldar went off that side, and with his 20 odd boys, he went towards this bunker over here. They approached first bunker, Manoj Pandey threw the grenade, managed to destroy it. Second bunker, threw the grenade, destroyed that bunker, killed all the people over there. Third bunker, when he approached, there was a lot of fire. By that time, they had realized this direction of attack. There was a lot of fire from there with the machine gun, and he got a machine gun burst on his shoulder and his thigh, and he was bleeding profusely. The boys told him, "Sahab, aap chhod do, hum karenge." He said, "No, my commanding officers told me, and I will clear the bunker." And he dragged himself came up to a point from where he could throw the grenade, and the third bunker, he threw the grenade, finished it. Now comes the fourth bunker. By that time, he had lost a lot of blood. He had become weak. His reactions and his actions had become sluggish. So they closed it again. He managed to drag himself to a distance from where he could throw the grenade. He opened the grenade, took it out, and he was throwing it into the bunker like this. Like I told you, his movement was sluggish by now, very slow. The enemy saw this Pandey just taking the fin out of the grenade, just took his aim and fired one burst of machine gun. That burst of machine gun went straight through his head like this, through the helmet, through the head like this, and took out all his brains, blew him. And he fell down instantaneously. He was dead. But before he actually fell down, he had already released the grenade. And this grenade went into the bunker and actually destroyed the bunker. 4 bunkers he destroyed, this young boy. And look at his Josh. Even when he was shot, bleeding, must have been in terrible pain too. He refused to stop at that point of time, because he had given his word to me that he would destroy it and he would tell me anytime. Now, that Havaldar who had gone ahead to destroy those 2 bunkers, a very brave boy again. First bunker he destroyed, no problems. Second one, when he was destroying the bunker, he also got shot. He also died there. But they destroyed all the 6 bunkers there and established some sort of a launch point.
So I'm going to pause the video right there. But just like in the movie Shershaah and also with the 50-Day War video series, we are seeing and hearing about these stories of these soldiers that got injured on the battlefield, that they continue to plow on and to fight and to take the objective. I mean, that's exactly what that one soldier, that captain, just did that he was talking about. The sense of duty of these soldiers is just amazing. I think the whole world can learn from this. But let's continue with part 3 and the final part of my reaction. Once it's filmed, I'm going to put it right here. I'm going to have it published tomorrow, actually. Until then, there'll be another video you can watch. If you got any value from this video, there are a few easy things you can do to help me out. You can like, share, comment, hit the thanks button, or just watch some more videos. Thanks for watching.